Jimmy Butler being suspended indefinitely. It's time for the Miami Heat to turn the corner. And last night against the Orlando Magic, in an in-division matchup, we really showed that. And I'm here to break down how and why on this episode of Heat Digest. But first, before we get to the news, remember, if you're a part of the 85% who are currently watching this video, not currently subscribed to this channel, and want to stay up to date on everything Miami Heat, scroll down, click the subscribe button, help us get to our goal of 2,000 subscribers. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down the next chapter in Miami. Now, I'm very excited about this, and the reason being is because I think that we are on to very good things. I'm not going to say better things just yet, but I'm going to say that it looks very promising on the other side, despite not having a multiple-time All-Star and really the leader in Jimmy Butler. Now, it's going to be hard to play without him. It's really going to be hard to get used to not having him on this team, specifically because we're in the middle of a season, and obviously, no one really anticipated this to really boil over the way it did at this point of the NBA season for the Miami Heat, including Jimmy Butler. But now there's no way going back from it, and it's really time to capitalize on the team that we currently have constructed. And what we've been saying for a long time on this channel, ever since we drafted the young man out of Indiana, he's finally a starter, and now he's playing alongside Bam Adebayo, and things look very, very good. And it started with a win last night over the Orlando Magic. Now, why is this so big? Well, obviously, they were above us in the division. They were above us in the conference. We have looked very bad. They have looked even worse as of late specifically. And last night, we took advantage of an Orlando Magic's team with what we have as a current roster, and we really took advantage. And why do I say that? We won 125-119 in double overtime. Now, this game was exciting from start to finish. Obviously, it didn't really start in the first half, I'm saying, as well as we really wanted it to. It seemed like Orlando was really dominating this game to some extent. It felt like we really couldn't get our offensive wheels turning, and then we found a groove, and things really worked for us. We obviously got outscored in the first three quarters, but in the fourth, we did outscore them 29-20, and then we did outscore them 9-3 in the second overtime period, and it resulted in a win. And now, I'm not going to say Kellman won us this game, because he obviously was a massive piece in this game. But again, it was a team effort. It was Tyler Herro. It was Bam Adebayo for the first time in a long time of this season. He really stepped up. He really was engaged, and he was very productive for this Miami Heat team. We'll first start with the box score. If we go through it, Tyler Herro had a monster game, 30 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds, 12 of 28 shooting from the field, including 4 of 15 from behind the three-point line. Obviously, not very efficient, but again, he knocked down the ones that did matter. Bam Adebayo, 10 of 15 from the field, finally a bit more aggressive, a bit more efficient at that. He did make 6 of his 8 free throws. He did not attempt a three, which is always nice to see from Bam. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists with a steal. He was phenomenal. And honestly, let's start referring to these guys as the big three in Miami. Kellman, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Herro. These guys are going to be a problem to be dealing with for the rest of the season and for a long time coming, as these guys are very young and they have a lot of potential with a lot of upside down here in Miami. Now, for Kellman, the rookie, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, a block, shot 7 of 8 from the field, including 4 of 4 from behind the three-point line. He made 1 of his 2 free throws. Kellman is the X factor for this Miami Heat team, and not just because of the offensive production or the defensive output that we see from him every single game that he plays, but now playing next to Bam Adebayo in the starting lineup, allowing Bam to go back to the power forward position. When I say back, I mean back again, because back at college, we assumed him to be a power forward. Coming into the NBA, obviously, he's been a center for this Miami Heat team his entire tenure in the NBA for this Heat organization. But again, putting a true center, a true defensive-minded, rim-protecting center who can also stretch the floor next to him in the painted area is going to do... It's going to move mountains. It really is. Not only defensively, again, but also offensively. And it is a joy to watch because the Miami Heat are better at basketball when we do this. We saw them try to put Jovic in the starting lineup and move, obviously, at the 4, allowing Bam to play the 5. But it did not get the job done the way this roster and this lineup currently is. Obviously, with 2 massive individuals down there protecting the paint as well as altering shots. It is really, really doing a substantial job for this Miami Heat team, and last night was the first example of it. Jovic off the bench shot 5 of 12. He did play 47 minutes, so again, despite coming off the bench, playing a large sample of minutes, he added 15.7 rebounds and 2 assists. Overall, a pretty good game. Also, shout out to Terry Rozier, coming off the bench, still playing that backup point guard role and really leading the second unit offensively, specifically at least. In 23 minutes, he shot 4 of 9 from the field, missed both of his 3-point shots. 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists. Overall, a good game from really this entire Miami Heat team. But again, going back to the 3 that I labeled the big 3, hopefully that'll catch on, and hopefully their play continues to earn that recognition and that label. But again, look at the plus minuses of Bam, Tyler, and Kel'el Ware. Plus 19 for Bam Adebayo, plus 15 from Kel'el Ware, and plus 10 from Tyler Herro. Overall, very, very productive from the starting unit, specifically those 3 guys. And I genuinely think it is going to really change the way this entire Miami Heat team looks and plays on the basketball floor, and I'm really, really excited for it, and I think you guys should be too. Now, if we look at the breakdown in the head-to-head stats between these teams, the 2 things that really stand out to me are the rebounding, specifically the offensive rebounding side of things. 12 offensive rebounds for the Orlando Magic compared to the 5 for the Miami Heat. That is not going to get the job done. Earlier in the game, around the third quarter coming out of halftime, this offensive rebounding battle was severely lopsided towards the Magic, so we did do a decent job negating the offensive rebounds in the second half. I will say that first half up to that, again, early stages of the third quarter, Kel'el Ware did find himself in foul trouble. He was being a bit too aggressive, and because of that, he did have to come off the floor for some time in that first half, resulting in, I believe, in a bit more offensive rebound opportunities for the Orlando Magic, and it followed. So that is interesting. Hopefully we can correct that because, again, rebounding has been a massive problem for this Miami Heat team, and because of that, we've seen this Heat team lose games and leave other not-so-competitive games up to the grabs of these competitors, and because of that, we're losing games that should not happen. And again, with Kel'el Ware, I think it's going to do a substantial job in really turning it down for other teams because of his ability to rebound the basketball at such a high percentage. Now, this was the 4th and final meeting in the regular season between the Heat and the Orlando Magic, and this was a big one. We were down 2-1 going into this game in the sense of a series or the season series matchup, and we won that game drawing it at 2 apiece. So if we were to tie with them at the end of the regular season, it would be interesting, obviously, for playoff seeding. But again, if we were able to win by just 1 game over these Orlando Magic, or again, we would then be above them. It's going to come down to who has the better record due to us splitting the season series. So that is going to be interesting. We're going to have to win more games than the Orlando Magic. But again, let's look at this Eastern Conference standings. We just broke this down a few videos ago, how we have a chance to be a 4, 5, or even a 6 seed in the Eastern Conference and not be in the play-in tournament without a doubt as currently constructed. And again, with just this one massive win over the Orlando Magic, we have now moved up. Obviously, we won more than just that, but now sitting at 23 and 22, sitting 13 and a half games back from first place. We are a half game ahead of the Magic, the Pistons, and now a full game and a half ahead of the Hawks, which is good as we were behind both the Hawks and the Magic just a few games ago, not only in the division standings, but as well as obviously as the conference standings. Now there's 2 games difference between us and the 5th seed Indiana Pacers. It's going to be interesting. We can catch them. I think we are more than capable with the team that we currently have on this floor, on the roster, to really catch them. The next 5 games for the Miami Heat are going to be interesting. They're going to be challenging, as 4 of them are going to be on the road following our Wednesday night game against the Cleveland Cavaliers at home. Now, obviously, I don't have to tell you guys, that is going to be a massive game. Cleveland is obviously the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, one of the best teams in the entire NBA currently based off a record, as well as how they play the game of basketball. They've been a joy to watch. If you've been able to watch any Cleveland Cavaliers games, they are a great basketball team without a doubt. Evan Mobley is up for most improved player. He is a problem. He's playing like a true small forward almost. He is doing a lot more of handling the basketball, moving up and down the ball, or moving the ball up and down the floor in transition. And again, he looks scary as well as the rest of this Cleveland Cavaliers group. It's going to be interesting to see how that game goes. It's going to be a massive test for players like Bam Adebayo and Kel'el Ware, as they are going to have a big matchup in Mobley as well as Jarrett Allen. Going to love to see how the rebounding battle goes in that game. Again, it's going to be a huge point. And then we go into a four-game road stand against San Antonio, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Brooklyn. There is no reason we do not go on a 4-game winning streak here. San Antonio, we watched Kel'el Ware dominate this last matchup just a week ago against Victor Wembanyama. I'm not saying Kel'el Ware should dominate again, but again, he's going to have the opportunity once again to go out there and establish himself against someone who's being looked at as one of the best players in the world right now in Victor Wembanyama, despite his age and youthfulness. And then we go to Chicago, who has not been great this year. Obviously, Zach LaVine has been balling, but outside of that, they are a mediocre team in the Eastern Conference, to say the least. And then Philadelphia has been underwhelming. Joel Embiid is not very healthy, relatively at all. And then at Brooklyn, someone we just beat up on not too long ago without Jimmy Butler. So again, a big test coming here for this Miami Heat team that looks very, very different. And an example of that, look at this. Look at this depth chart. Kel'el Ware is our starting center. Bam Adebayo has been moved to the power forward, and obviously Haywood Highsmith is the starting small forward. That is obviously the reason Jimmy Butler walked out of shoot-around that we reported in our last video of Heat Digest, and why he has been suspended indefinitely from this Miami Heat team. So again, this team looks very, very different, but it plays very different, and it's playing very well. I can't wait to see how it continues to play. I will quickly highlight this in the post-game from Zachary Weinberger, once again on Twitter. Shout out to you. As he goes on to cite Bam Adebayo, who was sitting next to the center, Kel'el Ware, about really, like, how does this work? How does this dynamic work? How do you feel about it? Really, what's your take on it? And Bam gave us the perfect answer, something we've been really screaming from the mountaintops on this channel. It takes pressure off of Bam, putting someone like Kel'el Ware next to him, allowing Bam to step outside of the painted area and defend at the high level that we know he can, at anywhere on the floor, and not have to rely and constantly think in the back of my mind, I have to get back to the rim. At some point, I have to get near that rim and defend the painted area for this Miami Heat team as the one and only rim protector. That is no longer the case in Miami. He referenced it in this conversation surrounding Kel'el Ware and how Kel'el Ware's abilities to defend the rim, protect the painted area for this Miami Heat team is so vital, not only to him, but also this Heat team entirely, as it takes some pressure off of Bam Adebayo and allows him to really be freed up and play his brand of basketball anywhere on the floor, and not, again, have to feel so pressured to be the sole rim protector and rebounder for this Heat team. So again, I'm excited to see how this all plays out. Let me know down below what you guys think about this tandem between Kel'el Ware and Bam Adebayo, as well as Tyler Herro leading the way offensively for this Miami Heat team. That'll be it for this episode of Heat Digest, and I will see you guys on the next one.